7 things that are insane in 2019. There's actually way more than 7. I am just counting how many circled items I have here. There's definitely way more than this, but I think you have to start with this trans stuff. I think you really have to start there. Can you imagine 10 or 15 years ago, you know, if you're me, you're with your buddies at the lunch table, and you're trying to tell them, no, guys, listen, gender is not a real thing. There's no such thing as a man or a woman. I don't know. I mean, people liked me, but they would probably not... They'd probably think I was a little bit crazy after that. They might not sit with me anymore. I don't know. But today, it's a full-fledged conversation. In fact, Dennis Thurgroup, who I love, he is fully on board with this idea. The idea that it is a social construct, that it is... I mean, I don't know. I really didn't get into it with him, and I regret that. Maybe we should. But yeah, it's... you would never have thought 10, 15 years ago that we'd be talking about this. Regardless of what you think of it, just never thought we would be having this conversation. which is interesting. It's it kind of brings up a couple other questions. I mean, not to backtrack, but especially with marriage, like, is incest a problem anymore? This is a serious question. I mean, for me, it definitely is. I am 100% against it. But just kind of thinking freely here, why would it even be bad anymore? I mean, if marriage is no longer traditional marriage anymore, and marriage can basically mean whatever you want, because you can't just say, if marriage isn't traditional, then it's nothing. It basically means nothing. It either means something or it means nothing, I think. If you're going to say, well, a marriage it's only between a man and a woman, or maybe a man and a man, well, then, the lesbians are going to say, well, wait a minute, you're discriminating against us. Okay, we'll let you guys in. Well, what about 3 people? What about 4 people? All right, so you get the polygamists in. Then what if you have, like, a brother and a sister, a father and a daughter? I mean, you're going to exclude them based on what? You're going to be evil, and you're going to be discriminatory and hateful, and I don't see how you can't stop it. Once that ball gets rolling, I don't see how you're going to stop it or how you would justify it. What are you going to say? They're freaks or something? No. The legal rationale for maintaining any kind of standard for marriage is gone. If it doesn't mean what it used to mean, then it doesn't mean anything going forward. Which, that also reminds me, speaking of incest, I was talking with someone who shall remain nameless, and this person was giving me this kind of grandiose, this grandstanding about, just that, basically. Oh, it's just love, and who cares? No one should ever have an opinion on it. It's just let people do what they want to do, and that's the highest thing, and I'm cool with whatever they're doing. And keep in mind, we're watching Game of Thrones, and all of a sudden, this scene, spoiler alert, Jon Snow has discovered he is having sex with his aunt, as it turns out. And this person goes, oh my god, no! Gross! Jon, no, don't do it! Oh my god! And I look at him, and I go, do you not realize the inherent contradiction of what you're doing right now? You just got done telling me how love is love, and it shouldn't even matter, and here you are, and you shouldn't have an opinion on it, it's stupid even having opinions on these things, and here you are condemning Jon Snow for hooking up with his aunt. Like, why is that gross? Do you not see the inherent contradiction? They were kind of quiet after that, and maybe that was a little bit of getting red-pilled. I don't know. But it was funny. It was a funny time. And I mean, it doesn't even end there. I mean, for misgendering someone, we're in a time where you misgender someone, whether it's on purpose or by accident, or maybe you just genuinely, this is the problem I have, if you genuinely just don't believe it. I mean, you look at this example of the GameStop guy. I mean, I've seen the video, and the guy's sitting there, it's ma'am. And I'm sorry, I don't think the guy was doing that to be hateful to you, or to, purposely to piss you off or anger you. He probably just, he's not doing it to be a douchebag to you. He just was saying, oh, I'm sorry. I don't even know if he said sir or something. I have no idea. I don't remember. But he was being the mean one. He was being the mean guy. Girl, God, sorry. See, I just did it. I just did it. I genuinely am not trying to be mean or anything or hateful, but it's instinct. You know, and someone might say that that's a part of, it's a social construct. And I'm just thinking now, okay, so let's say that is my social construct, that I just think, I look at a man, a biological man, and I just think, oh, that's a man. And then I see a biological man dressed as a woman, and I go, oh, that's a biological man dressed as a woman. If that's my social construct, what's wrong with that? It's not inherently hateful. I mean, well, unless you're going to make that case. Is it inherently hateful? Am I inherently evil because I just don't agree with it? Even though I have no measurable hate in my human body. I don't hate trans people because I don't agree with the thing that they want me to agree with them on. That doesn't inherently make you hateful, I think. I think that'd be a dark argument to make. But who knows? I guess I'll have to have it one day. I'll have to ask somebody. But I think my social... Even if you're going to go down that road, I think my social construct also has some validity. I mean, why should my social construct be destroyed in favor of yours? Why should... How does that work? Which really goes to a broader issue at hand. I mean, it's always... The premise for all these things on the left is that, oh, you're offensive and you're hateful and this and that. Even though I think it's obvious where all the hate lies. But, putting that aside, what if I just said, I'm really offended that you guys don't really know economics and how prices fluctuate and, the principles of competition and, free market principles and all these sorts of things. It offends me. Oh, could you... Or maybe, let's take it even deeper. Can you, when you call me a racist and a Nazi, it makes me feel really bad. It makes me feel really sad inside. I don't like it. It's mean. Do you think they would, clamor to me and say, listen, you evil, hateful leftists calling these nice conservative racist, you're hurting their feelings, you're offending them, you're committing the worst sin of all, you're offending people. You need to stop. I don't think that would ever happen. I think they would just laugh at us and call us all sorts of names. And, they wouldn't be totally wrong. Because that would demonstrate a very weak character, I think. So I'm glad we don't do that at large. But, see, the fundamental flaw, and I wish I would have said this at the time when Dennis brought this up. We'll have him on again. Who knows, maybe we'll discuss it again. But I think the fundamental flaw with the transgender movement, the whole thing, the whole premise, the whole idea, it's that let them do they can do whatever they want to do with themselves. They want to chop off their ding-dongs and their Husker-doos, fine by me. But stop criminalizing me for not playing along with it. Stop having me get fired from my job if I misgender you, by accident. Or maybe I'm just, like I said, maybe I'm just a genuine guy. Just, listen, sorry, it's my social construct. It's just kind of what I believe. I don't hate you. I don't want you to die or anything like that. I believe you should live a happy life. I want you to be happy. I want you to find someone that makes you happy. I want you to get a good job. I want you to live, the best life that you can in this really tough world. I just don't agree with you on this, on your positioning, on who you think you are or something. I don't know. I just don't agree with it. Just don't send me to jail. Don't make me pay fines. Don't make me go through some kind of sensitivity training or anything like that. Just let me have my own opinion about it, please. Just stop coming after me. And I mean, I don't see what the counter argument would be to that, because you'd have to assume that person has, they're doing this because they're actually evil. They're just not admitting it. And wow, if you could prove that somehow, besides just guessing, I mean, then we could talk. But until then, I'm gonna err on that side of caution, where just, you can do your own thing and I'll do my thing. But what's also interesting is that there is an argument, because the whole idea is, do whatever you want. We don't care what you do with yourself. We don't care about what you're doing. Isn't that that's kind of mean, isn't it? That's kind of anti-human. Shouldn't we actually care about humans? Shouldn't we actually care about people and what they do, and use our thousands of years of experience, our total experience, the experience from our family and friends and elders who've lived this life and could probably save us a lot of time, you know, rummaging through the trash to figure out how to best conduct ourselves. You know, history has a lot of good lessons to teach us, and if we are willing to consult it, I think you'll find that you can save yourself a lot of time. I remember, you know, I met a guy, and I think he literally saved me, I mean, he saved me 30 years in a job that I just shouldn't have been in, basically. And I thank him. He, you know, we had a conversation, and yeah, he basically saved me a lot of time, because I might have just stuck it out, but he inspired me. But in any case, I think there is a moral argument to say, no, wait, I do care. I want to get involved. And I don't think a lot of people make this argument, but I'll do my best to do it. But we have a condition called gender identity disorder. I think now it's called gender dysphoria. And what I would want to know is, among the people who are seeking these reassignment surgeries, how many of them actually have this, it's a mental illness. How many people have this mental illness? And the reason I'd want to know is because I wouldn't want to have someone sexually reassign themselves if they were actually, and they met the criteria for a mentally ill person. I mean, this is what we're dealing with here at this point. I mean, I don't know if this has ever been asked, or if I don't know what the procedure is, but I don't think it's very, you know, if you want to go through these surgeries, I know it's a process, but I don't know if they are actually like, hey, let's look into this specific thing. Let's see if they have this condition. I don't know. And I don't know if even the medical community would want to do that. I mean, you have guys who are all about it and probably couldn't care less anyway because they believe in the movement. But I feel like as an objective doctor, I'd at least want to eliminate that as a potential option, because you don't want people who are actually mentally ill. Because this is a real thing. I didn't make this up. Don't send the hate my way. This is a real condition. And whatever that criteria is, I don't know, but I think we need to really be mindful of that, because like I said, I don't want people who have a mental illness to make permanent decisions harming themselves. I mean, in a way, if you're mentally ill in this capacity, you can't make this decision for yourself. But I'm not going to go any further than that. I'm going to let the experts deal with that one, because that's a tough one. Oh, what's next? Oh, we're not out of the woods yet. So, in addition to all these things we were talking about, there are now these trans children, which I think, you know, now we're out of the realm of adults and kind of how adults want to conduct themselves and this and that. We're into the realm of children now. So no, I'm sorry. I'm in the camp where, no, this is child abuse. I'm sorry. It just is. I mean, I don't know how else to explain it. We don't let children do anything on their own. We don't let them dress themselves for school. We don't let them decide what they're going to eat. Otherwise they'd just be all sugar. We don't let them do anything. And yet we're just here saying, oh, they think they're the opposite sex. No problem. Let's do the hormone blockers. Let's do the puberty blockers. Let's do all this just trash. And I'm sorry, it's what it is. And it's child abuse. It really is. It's disgusting that people would allow this to happen. It'd be one thing if, listen, if your kid is like that, if they're saying, listen, they're a biological boy and they think they're a girl, let them dress up, let them do whatever. Do not give them hormones. Do not block puberty. I mean, there's no reversing that. I know that, I guess there are experts quote unquote experts, let's say. You know, I know nothing about this science, but I know enough to know that puberty, you don't just start and stop puberty whenever you want. There are real consequences to doing these hormone blockers and these puberty blockers. There are real consequences that cannot be undone. And it's a tragedy that we're going down that road. And you have these clinics that are all about this stuff, and it's disgusting. Would you ever consider this, talking about this being an issue 10 years ago? I don't think so. But it gets a little worse. We're not only dealing with trans children, we're dealing with drag children. Now, I don't know how this came about, really, but, I mean, everyone's probably seen this, or maybe you haven't. You should Google it. Maybe I should get the kid's name. I'll see if I can find the video, I'll post it up. There's a young boy, I want to say maybe he's, I'll be generous, let's say he's 10 years old. I don't think he is. I don't think he's double digits yet. You have this young boy dressing in drag as a woman, dancing on this bar, all sexual-like, and having these, I guess they're gay males, throw dollars at this kid, like a stripper. And I'm just looking at this, and I'm thinking, wow, you know, I guess it's time to bust this one out. Given all this evidence, now I got to debate. Should I even bring this up? I've thought this in the past. I've said it to a couple people, and surprisingly, I didn't get the response I thought I would get. I mean, most people go, "Oh, you're crazy," but then I make the case, and they go, "Oh God, well, you know, let's do it. It'll be fun." So, given this trajectory, I mean, look at the path that we're on right now. You know, maybe I'll make the case first, just so it sounds better. When you have the idea that men can be women and women can be men and sex is whatever, it's a social construct, it doesn't matter, you can change it at any time, who cares, doesn't matter, there's no consequence to it. When you have that, then you have, you know, marriage is just, well, it's between, I mean, whatever, just people who love each other, basically is what it means right now. It's people who love each other. You know, any group, any number, any sex, all it doesn't matter. It has no consequence to families or children, young children. It doesn't matter. It totally doesn't matter. You take that. You take those two things. And then you have drag children, where we are sexualizing children. Oh, it's so fun. Little Johnita's up there strutting his stuff. And we're openly sexualizing children. Is it that crazy to think that maybe sometime in our lifetime, and especially given the fact that 20 years ago, the person who said this stuff was happening today, we would have thought they were crazy. Is it crazy to think in our lifetime that we'll see the legalization of pedophilia? Now I know I can hear you, oh no, I can hear it all now, and I always hear it. But I just made the case, right? And in essence, I mean, I know I've read somewhere where with these trans clinics, where they're transitioning children, there's a lot of talk about how if the parents don't go along with it, that the kid can be removed from the home. The kid will go somewhere else because the parents who are protecting the kid from child abuse are having these social services come in, remove their child, because the parents, they're saying the parents are committing child abuse by not letting the kid transition. Now again, I don't know if this has actually happened somewhere. I know they were talking about it though. I know that for a fact. And I turned away from it. I didn't even want to know, because that is terrifying to me. And it should be. For anyone who is, you know, thinking about having kids, or maybe you have young kids, that has got to be a terrifying thought. That, like, your young son or daughter could, I mean, they don't know what they're doing. They could be joking around. They could just, you know, I remember when I was young, you don't understand, like, the implication of things sometimes. And you could just say, oh, I'm a girl one day. And, like, all of a sudden these adults are like, oh my God, wait a minute. And now they're taking it to a whole different level that you as a kid really didn't. you weren't at that level. You were just kind of joking around or something. That's got to be terrifying, because it's an attack on your parental rights to raise your child the way you want. So when you couple all those things together, what do we got? We got, I mean, gender's meaningless, marriage is meaningless in terms of, I mean, the actual content of what it is, drag kids, sexualizing kids, no parental rights. I mean, that's the formula for pedophilia. That is the absolute formula to legalize pedophilia. Now, for the record, I think that's disgusting. I obviously am against pedophilia and incest, and I don't want this taken out of context, which I'm sure it will be anyway one day. You never know. That's how these things work. But at least we'll have the audio here to prove it. But yeah, I really wouldn't be surprised if I saw it. I'd be disgusted and horrified, but I wouldn't be surprised by it. And why would you? I mean, the thing is, look at the trajectory we're on. It's always more insanity, more craziness. We're pushing farther and farther left. We're getting more woke. We're getting more just to the left every day. I mean, and actually this is a great segue into the next category of things. Actually, no, we're taking a break from it. Different stuff. Google, another example of insanity. Google has come out against people they don't like, basically. Now, if you haven't seen the video, it's of some executive woman. I don't remember her name. It doesn't matter. Really, this shouldn't even really be on here, because we already knew this was happening. All you need is, even if they denied it and there was no James O'Keefe video, and we already knew this was happening. The evidence is overwhelming. It's all around us. You look at Gavin McInnes, you look at Steven Crowder, you look at Dave Rubin. These guys, you know, they have like all these millions of followers, and they're like, it's so weird. You know, I have all these, you know, subscribers, and then I go on Facebook or I go on YouTube. Well, YouTube is just like, well, we're demonetizing Crowder. We're not going to tell him why. We don't really know why, but we're just going to demonetize him for now, and see you later. And then his lawyer's like, hey, what's going on? Hey, can you be specific? Why are we being demonetized? What part of your policy are we violating? Anything? And nothing. They get nothing. Dave Rubin will be like, yeah, I do these streams. I put one up here and I get like 1 million views. I put one up on Facebook and I get like 2,000 views. When I have, you know, millions of followers, I'm like, what is going on here? So the evidence speaks for itself, and they've had conferences on this, and it's pathetic. We all know what's going on. The social media sites, they're run by these, I'm not even going to say, you know, lefties or Democrats, whatever. They're against people who just they disagree with, including, look at Dave Rubin, Jordan Peterson. These are people on the left, basically. These are lefties, basically. And they're getting the brunt of it because they're not left enough. That's the problem. It's not even that it's against people conservative or Republican, although it is, but it's against people they just don't agree with, which is even more dangerous because that includes anyone who's not left enough. But anyway, going back to the video, if you haven't seen it, I'll sum it up for you. Google hates Trump. They want to prevent his re-election. They want to control content you see. They are targeting content that you don't like. And one of my favorite quotes, actually I'm not going to quote, I'm going to paraphrase. She basically says that we thought people would make the right decisions, but they didn't. So now we're stepping in. Honestly, she denies it. She wrote this garbage, awful piece about why it wasn't true, which basically, to sum it up, she goes, oh, it was the clip, it was spliced, it was edited out of context. It wasn't my words, or whatever it was. And I'm just sitting here again. We all know the truth. And really, if you're going to make that argument, if you're going to say, listen, they spliced the tape, they edited words out of context or this or that, it's edited footage, I would ask, okay, so when you say that you hate Trump and you view your role, you know, the company views its role to prevent his re-election, can you provide the context maybe, if you're taken out of context? No, I'm just going to say they're lying, that's it. See, if it's true that it was taken out of context, you could easily say, a good example would be like this. They would say, hey, it looks like here in this video that you're saying you hate Trump. Is this true? And she could just go, no, it's taken out of context. Can you provide the context? And she would say, sure. They asked me in the interview, they said, what are things that you don't believe, would never say, and are just horrible? And she would go, oh, that's easy. An example of that would be, you know, we hate Trump, we want to prevent his re-election. People were making these bad decisions, and we thought they wouldn't do that, but they did it anyway. And so we're stepping in now to do this, you know, to make it right, basically, based on what we say. And those are great examples of what I would never say, what I don't believe in, blah, 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 blah. But they never say that. They always just go, oh, he's lying. Oh, the tape's edited. And you go, can you prove it? Because you're just sitting there. She even says, oh, I was careless and I was casually talking. So in other words, you were just telling the truth. Yeah, thank you. We get it. We get the picture, buddy. Which really is another good segue into the next point. Another insane thing that we're dealing with today. A political party whose only selling point to you is that they are not Nazis, or actually no, not even that. It's that their opponents are Nazis and racists. Obviously, we're talking about Democrats. That is their only selling point, basically, is that of course you should vote for me. And you know, play this out in your head. You know, here you are, you're a constituent. Oh, who's running? Oh, what's going on? Why should we vote for you? Huh? Well, that's an easy one, constituent voter. That person's a Nazi and a racist, and I am not. Ha 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 ha. No problem. All right, done. Sold. Great. And then, for some people that might be enough, but others might come and they might say, well, what are you actually going to do for us now? And now they're freaking out, because now they actually have to have some sort of substantive policy, some kind of idea that will engage people, that will be cool. And look at some of the things that we're talking about now. Slavery reparations, gay reparations, canceling student debt. Not too long ago, we have the infamous Green New Deal. You know, those first three, isn't that just bribery? Aren't you just saying that, hey, if you vote for me, I'll make sure you get money, black person. I'll make sure you get money, gay person. Hey, all you dumb college kids, I'll make it so you don't have to pay off your student loans. This is bribery. This is the definition of quid pro quo. And don't we have useless campaign finance laws that are supposed to do something about this? I don't know. This seems crazy to me. So again, this is just another example of the left being totally insane in their quest to be more, just more woke is the word? To be more progressive. That's what I want to say more than the other. And look, I mean, I guess at the end of the day, it's a little more bashy than I usually want to be, but I'm trying to have fun too while doing it. I don't think and again, I'm not anyone who's hateful. I love everybody. Some people, I'll tell you when I don't like someone. When I get the vibes, and my vibes never lie, so don't even go there. But when I get the vibes that I'm with a bad person or good person, it's clear to me. I feel like if you were to sit down with like Elizabeth Warren or God forbid Hillary Clinton, you would right away know that this person is not genuine. I think even if you were one of her constituents, I think if you sat down with her, I think that you would just get this vibe like this person is so fake and could not give a crap less about me. I don't know. Maybe I'm biased. I'm open to it. All that matters is that we are living in this crazy world. And so I think in this short time that we have on Earth, I think it's just go out, be offensive, be truthful, be compassionate, have fun, and enjoy life as much as you possibly can.